Namaste, Angel. This is the weekly love reading for the period of today, Sunday, July 18th through Saturday to come, July 24th. We are beginning with the dice. Try again, cocktail, and buy shoes. As I mentioned, try again. I'm looking at the judgment card here, which actually, in a general sense, can mean second chances or trying something again. Not necessarily love, but in this case, yeah, even love or relationship. Spirit says it's 50-50. That can mean many things too. Balance, or maybe for something like this, for trying again, it would take two for a second chance, but you each got to, go in on this. Or in general, effort that's required. It's 50-50. 50-50 can also mean like something can go either way. It can be yes, it can be no, it can be maybe. We'll see what happens. Also, maybe going Dutch on a date or something, splitting the bill. Dirty movie, something happening online, maybe online connection, online dating, or sending each other like pictures or videos, messages. And spend money. So investing somehow in relationship, love, yourself, maybe in preparation for that. With the cards, we are beginning with Major Arcana card 6, the Lovers, which there's not many better cards that we could start with for a love reading. Lovers most directly represents the sign of Gemini, which does represent the North Node currently, ruled, of course, by Mercury, which moved into Cancer last week. Cancer, one of the most sensitive and emotional and loving signs. So that may be what this is about. Behind it is the Six of Swords. It is in reverse, but the Six of Swords in reverse can be about something that maybe we've needed to talk about for a while and finally ceasing to sweep it under the rug and to finally address it. That may involve a King of Cups, possibly a water sign, a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, or someone who would like someone who possesses traits of a water sign, or at least this week the energy of a water sign, those traits and attributes. And the Knight of Cups in reverse is somebody who in general and specifically in love is like a risk it all kind of person. Like I just want to follow my dreams and I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm willing to risk whatever it takes to achieve them. So it could be for a relationship. Maybe he wasn't before, but now he's ready to come back and talk and, put everything on the table, risk it all, take his shot, shoot his shot for love or relationship. And for those who do that, it looks like there will be a happy ending. And again, it may be a case of a relationship that is to be renewed, somebody from your past coming back to fix things. Judgment can be about second chances, second time around. For me, in a general sense, the way that I pick up the energy, it also represents abundance that is earned. Some sort of work or effort went into what you're receiving now or what you're to receive in the future. Review and evaluate. A favorable assessment of the facts. It's time to move in a new direction. Judgment most directly represents the sign of Scorpio and the planet Pluto. That may be who this King of Cups is specifically. Maybe he's a Scorpio. And maybe he's actually a he too, a Scorpio male and or masculine energy. Behind Judgment, it's called renewal here, but it's Judgment. We also have the Sun upright, which has a similar meaning, at least in this deck, to this happy ending card. Happy outcome. Brilliant new ideas that lead to success if you have confidence in yourself. It's Major Arcana card 19. And Something happens on the 19th. Actually, I think the 19th may be a particularly important day on the Hajj. The Hajj began yesterday, Friday, I think it was, the 17th. Why is the July 19th sticking out in my head? I think it may have something to do with the Hajj, and I can't remember what exactly. This is year, 1442. That's 11. Right? 1 plus 4 is 5. Plus 4 is 9. Plus 2 is 11. Yes. I don't know. It could be something I'm getting now, and maybe it just feels like a deja vu, like I'm supposed to know this date already, or something, or I already knew of something that was happening on this date, and maybe I didn't. Maybe it's just coming in now. In any case, this card number 19, represents the planet Jupiter and the sign of Sagittarius, which Jupiter rules. And specific to love, just in terms of the tarot, the sun can be about needing a break. One or both partners needing a break. They may need a break together. They may need to get away together. Maybe to, again, discuss some sort of renewal and second chances. Another meaning for judgment is, when it comes to relationships of any kind, not just romantic, is putting your cards on the table and deciding, if and when this relationship is gonna go anywhere any further, or if we've reached the end of the road. So that can be the case too. And even in the case of the end of the road, we have happy outcome. And we also very well could have, again, conversation being had that maybe needed to be had a long time ago, and we're finally getting to it, and we're sort of clearing the air. And maybe again that involves, at least in part, someone taking a real chance. I'm just going to let this off my chest and we'll see what happens. Maybe that will cause us to decide to go further, or maybe that will cause us to decide it's the end of the road. On that note, I'm going to do a little shuffling here. Opening first to the Ace of Wands, which I think I did the same thing in the general reading. I think the first card to which I opened to there was also the Ace of Wands, which of course is about a new start. And we have Justice, which represents the planet Venus and the sign of Libra most directly. We actually have Vesta, the marriage asteroid, entering Libra this week. And we have, speaking of Venus, we have Venus herself entering Leo this week. No, Virgo. Leaving Leo, entering Virgo. And I talk about both of those in more detail in the general reading. Just seeing that Ace of Swords in reverse come up twice too. Ace of Swords can be like, you're finally feeling free, maybe a little bit more confident, not as fearful about something. So that could also be tied to somebody. Oh, look. Okay. I didn't mean to do that. But this could also be tied to somebody, deciding that now they're ready to, again, clear the air, let it all out, get something off their chest, shoot their shot, whatever. They previously had felt stuck, afraid, lacked confidence, whatever. Something had them feeling trapped in their situation or circumstance, and in reverse is an indication that that's no longer the case. And then behind that now we have the Ten of Cups upright, which is a card of love and family and wanting to share love, even if it's just with one other person, to express love, to tell people how you feel. And there's another representation from the suit of the cups. It is another male or masculine representation. It is the knight, and he too is in reverse. So yeah, same kind of energies coming forth. Or for me, the Knight of Cups can also be about somebody returning to your life, like an ex or something, coming back maybe. Or traditional tarot, since if you're coupled, the Knight of Cups in reverse, similar to the Sun, can be about one or both people sort of feeling emotionally overwhelmed and maybe needing some space or some sort of break. Or if you're single, specific to the tarot and love, the Knight of Cups can be about meeting somebody who completely sweeps you off your feet in love. All right, on that note, I'm going to shuffle the numerology deck a couple times. We do have moderation coming up twice already. Could be tied to 50-50 and the need for balance. Karmic completion. Moderation equals 5. Karmic completion is card number 10. So maybe when you put the 50-50 in, the 2 5s in, that's when you get the 10 and the completion. We can end this karmic cycle. It might be tied to, again, finally having that kind of conversation that you need to have. Now we got 2 8s, environment and manifestation. So addressing some sort of situation in your environment or making changes to your situation and environment can lead to manifestation. Could be tied to Venus, who for me at least is a Queen of Pentacles as the ruler of the sign of Taurus. And the Queen of Pentacles is somebody who is always nurturing and making adjustments to her environment and trying to make it more homey, make it more comfortable. And often when we do that, even like sort of like a nesting, even when we do that, even if we're single, that leads to manifestation of the type of relationship we want, or, you know, if we're coupled too, it's still about creating a space for ourselves to enjoy ourselves in our space, but also to enjoy our partner and our relationship, and for it, you know, allows it like room to grow and develop when things are sort of comfortable, you know, and maybe feng shui too, and air is allowed to flow, how and energy is allowed to flow the way it needs to. That can lead to manifestation. And our new overall energy from this deck is self-love, followed by spirituality. And these are all 7s, by the way. Card number 61 equals 7, followed by card number 77. I talked about yesterday how 777 is like you about like hitting the jackpot and stuff. So abundance again coming in as a result of even self-love. The 7s can also be about July, and something that I've been feeling is happening or coming this month, and this month's, you know, it's almost over, so it needs to be soon. We also have on the 22nd, which falls into this week, the feast day of Mary Magdalene, who many of us would identify as a representation of the divine feminine, and more specifically, perhaps the divine feminine of Jesus of Nazareth, whom many regard as an ascended master on this spiritual journey, or a high prophet, and some, still God too, or the Son of God, depending upon, what one's beliefs are and where they are on that journey, if they still incorporate religion and so on and so forth. So that could mean something too. That's another 11. It's July 22nd, so 7 plus 4 is 11. 22nd on his own is, of course, master number 22, an equivalent of 13 or 4 or 11. And I'm wondering if this has anything to do with the 19th also. So maybe what I am receiving now, maybe specifically within the 19th and 22nd of this week, although of course anything can happen at any time, but maybe specifically between the 19th and 22nd. Some of us will be experiencing this sort of 10 of Cups energy. This is like the second time the 10 of Cups has come up in this reading as well. A contented and rewarding family life. Your emotional and material needs are met, and you have trustworthy relationships. We have another 6 of Swords here too. We started with the 6 of Swords in reverse in the Rider-Waite deck. It's here now. Things are looking up. It's the end of a difficult situation. One may even be taking a trip. Then we have the 7 of Swords following that. Plans that need revision. More going on than meets the eye, and perfect timing. Or poor timing, rather. I need my glasses. To me, that's, especially with the Fool right behind it, that's an indication of somebody still possibly not being ready, because whereas like I talked about the King of Cups in reverse being ready to risk it all, maybe including his freedom as a bachelor and all that kind of stuff, the Fool in reverse is indicative of somebody who, in terms of love, whose freedom and independence and stuff could get in the way of love and relationship for them. And the 7 of Swords can be, for one thing, about distrust in relationships and things, but it can be about distrust of oneself too. Like, and maybe that's why you need the self-love. Like, you don't even trust yourself. You don't even know if you're ready. You lack confidence, and so on and so forth. So, I think the reason for that may be because of like that transition from being single to being partnered or dating or whatever. Somebody could possibly not be ready for it. So it's like poor timing. Like, we finally came back together, or we're finally coming together if it's the first time meeting, and something's still not right for someone or some of us. All right, on that note, let's get more specific with the signs. We will again do 4 at a time. I think it was 4 that fit here comfortably. The overall energy for us all is the 8 of Swords, however. So, Aries, your card this week is the 9 of Wands. So it is in your element of Wands or fire. Taurus, your card is Very nice. The Queen of Cups, upright. Again, most directly represents the sign of Scorpio. Could represent an actual person that will be significant to you this week, in addition to the emotions that it represents and the fact that you, or the suggestion that you pay very close attention to your intuition. Could actually involve a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, or someone like into those traits or attributes. Gemini, our card this week is the Nine of Swords, also in our energy or element. In reverse. There could definitely be better cards for love, but it is what it is. Cancer, your card this week is very nice. The Ace of Cups, upright. Doesn't get much better than that, because this is about renewed relationships, of fresh starts, new beginnings, whether single or coupled. Can even be about like babies and new homes and all kinds of awesome stuff. So talking specifically about love, this Eight of Swords that we're starting with in reverse, as our overall energy, can be about potential disagreements. So the first cards that we started with talked about needing to get some stuff out and on the table, and to have a conversation that we've maybe been avoiding for a long time, or to talk about topics that we've been like sweeping under the rug, or incidents and situations that we've been sweeping under the rug and pretending they never happened, to finally talk about them. So this can be our overall energy potentially, because there's a potential for argument or disagreement there too. But we don't have to have those kind of exchanges. We can try to remain as calm and reasonable as possible and honest for these conversations, and that may help us to avoid conflict. And that's really the further guidance that this card gives you. It says that yes, there can be, if you're in an existing relationship of some sort, there can be these arguments, or there's a potential for disagreement, and so it goes on to guide you to try to get to the root of whatever the actual problems are. So that's really in line with what the Six of Swords in reverse wants from us too. It wants us to finally talk about some stuff. And, arguments are often not about what we're going back and forth about on the surface. There typically is some sort of underlying thing. If you are single and looking for love, and maybe even feeling sort of lonely, this card can come up when we're having those kind of thoughts and emotions. It shows up to say that we have some work to do on ourselves first. And again, that is in keeping with some of the other cards that we've been looking at here. And maybe with the number 7 too. We maybe need to work on our relationship with the divine, or with God also. 7 means God. Or spirituality. It can mean that too. What else? I guess that's it that I want to say about the Eight of Swords in reverse. Let's move on to the Nine of Wands upright and the sign of Aries. So when this card shows up, it's important to remember, and we have to tie it in, of course, to the overall energy, particularly for those who have some sort of existing relationship, or relationship that's trying to make a comeback, right? No relationship, like of any kind, can stand up to constant, holding it up under the light and dissecting it and all that kind of stuff. Nitpicking and things. So if that's been happening, there's a potential for that to cause some sort of disagreement or argument. But also we need to try to give ourselves maybe, and or our love interest or partner, beloved, some space, break, breathing room. And that can be tied to the sun, one of the cards we started out with. I said sometimes it can be about needing a break. And As can, there was another card that came up that can be about a break too. I don't remember which one that was, but you get the idea that may be what's happening here. If we are single or uncommitted at least, and really just hoping, looking for love, then it's possible that the timing is just off, as the Seven of Swords indicated. So something could even come up as a potential, and for whatever reason it's not working out, or maybe what starts out nice is, again, there's room for problems or an argument, debate, because something just may be off with the timing for those of us who are Aries, under the sign of Aries. And again, in part, that may be because there's things about ourselves that we, would like to change. And this is the time when we really should be working on those things and working on, getting or feeling more whole emotionally on our own, rather than this sort of feeling of needing someone else to complete us or something. And then that way, when we are ready for a new relationship, the person that we attract into our life will also be whole. Like a like attracts like type of thing, or we get what we're putting out into the universe. So unless you want the same old thing that you've had all over your life, the kind of experiences you genuinely want, like real true love, from somebody who is emotionally healthy, and ready for a relationship. We have to be the same way too. So moving on to the Queen of Cups. This is a really awesome card for love. Again, it can involve an actual Queen of Cups, a direct water sign, a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, or someone likened to those traits or attributes, as court cards often represent actual people in our lives, if not ourselves, some other person that will, of some sort of importance or relevance, either in general in our lives or within this time frame. And so this is a very positive card for love and relationship. Also, if we're single, a good indicator that we need to get out, and mingle and meet new people. Very positive romance may be, soon on the horizon for us. Also, there's a caution with this card too, because when she shows up, it's also comes with a warning that it can be very easy right now to get sort of carried away with regard to love. Maybe similar to the Queen of Swords in reverse, and push too hard and all that kind of stuff. So keeping balance is, and our approach and our perspective and all that in balance is important. Even with the excitement of brand new love, it's still going to be important to somehow keep our wits about us, and to keep track of the other things that are going on in our lives too, and not let those go by the wayside because we're smitten. You know what I mean? Also, just looking at the cards that we have in front of us, there may be some Taurus Cancer hookups or developments this week too, specifically. So moving on to us Geminis. Again, our card isn't very exciting. It's the Nine of Swords. But you know what? It's not out of nowhere either. We've seen all these Swords cards in this reading already, and they have been in reverse. The Six of Swords in reverse. The Eight of Swords in reverse. Now our card is the Nine of Swords in reverse. And this can be about our need to give some really deep thought to what the hell is going on in an existing relationship. It's possible that we feel that a partner has been dishonest with us, is disloyal in some way. Oh, I forgot the Seven of Swords. We also saw the Seven of Swords, right? Speaking of disloyalty and dishonesty. And if we're feeling like that, this is a good time to check into it. Not to just go off half-cocked and again start an argument unnecessarily, but to check into it, maybe even to just flat out ask, the person that we think is being dishonest, like, try to have a conversation. If we're single and looking for love, we should take our time when getting to know new people. And again, not introduce the Queen of Swords in reverse to this scenario also, who can be a little bit pushy and, try to do too much, maybe because she's excited, again, similar to what I said about the Queen of Cups, and, feeling romantic, but it tends to not be a good thing, to put that kind of pressure or to try to rush things. So much better to like go with the flow, not try to force the energies to do one thing or another. Just meet people, like genuinely get to know them. And we could come up against someone who is really just out for a good time and nothing more, but who is sort of well versed and practiced, maybe even, at telling people what they want to hear, but they don't actually follow through. They just tell you what you want to hear to sort of rope you in. This person may also be an air sign, and maybe even more specific to that, a Libra. That's just something that's coming through and makes sense to me, actually, especially in thinking about Libra males. And we're really guided to just trust our gut, as to whether we think this person is full of shit or legit. I didn't mean to rhyme, but I like that one. Full of shit or legit. Maybe that's what we'll call the reading. Moving on to Cancers and the Ace of Cups. Again, this is another really positive omen for love, either in an existing relationship or if you're single. So if you already have something going on, it could, improve, maybe even take a turn. If things aren't going all that great, take a turn for the better. Deeper levels of commitment and understanding, respect, all those sorts of things. And it will feel sort of new and encouraging and hopeful, because the Ace of Cups is about newness. If we're single, then, it relates more so to a new relationship that is likely to show up in our lives soon. So now I'm going to clarify these further by adding the numerology deck to them that we have right back here. Just taking the next card from the back, and it is change for the sign of Aries. And again, since this is about maybe again trying to change the person with whom you're involved, or change the dynamic of your relationship sort of by force, by, like I said, constantly holding it under a microscope, and this isn't perfect, that's not perfect, or how I want it. It supports the need for you to instead allow things to flow and change in a more organic and natural way, rather than by your hand. Taurus, joining your Queen of Cups. We have teaching and learning. And I think this is about, again, being as the Queen of Cups, just you tend to really be like a nurturer and just really putting a lot of energy and attention into other people and perhaps not yourself. And you even forget yourself or your responsibilities. And this card is about, yes, teaching. So like, giving that energy to other people, but also learning. So also you receiving some of what's going around also, and not being neglected or not neglecting yourself. Also, it's tied to the intuition aspect of this as well, right? Learning, coming into information, but also being able to interpret information is where you come in as a teacher. So you may also receive different downloads specific to your love life, or what direction is to take, or maybe about a person that you're interested in or that you're dealing with. And this information is just helpful. It's not necessarily anything bad for them, just helpful for you, but also serves as a reminder that you don't know everything and don't have everything under control, so you need some support too, and you're going to get that, but also will give you ways to support yourself and support your relationships and your partner too. Moving on to Gemini and our Nine of Swords in reverse. Our card came out in reverse too, and this is funny because 6 is a number that is sort of representative of the energy of Gemini. We even have Major Arcana card 6, the Lovers, in the tarot. The blue is also a color that is used often to represent air, the element of air in our sign. So it's like a very Gemini card, and it, like our Nine of Swords, came out in reverse, although there are no reversals in this deck. And I just think it's tied to potentially our love lives being maybe turned upside down in a metaphoric sense, but also it's giving six of swords / lovers. So there could be also some positive movement in our love lives, just not as strong and as impactful as it would be if we were receiving the Lovers upright, or the 6 of Swords upright. And definitely somebody could be returning to our lives, want to have a conversation, want to get some stuff out, and it's very possible that this is poor timing for us. This could be somebody that we really want to be with, and for whatever reason, there's something else going on that it's poor timing. Maybe you just got into another relationship, or there's somebody else hanging around, you're talking to somebody, dealing with somebody, so when this person comes back, it's like, oh man, I was single all this time, now you're coming back, now what do I do? Or I just heard somebody could be pregnant too, which is really it's poor timing. I don't know. I mean, there could be any number of reasons why the timing is off, but ultimately it's still a positive thing. It's good that we get to have this conversation. It's good that we get to experience some of these emotions and maybe be able to at least begin to sort of figure out where we can go from here in the future, despite the box we feel like we may be in. It's kind of giving 8 of Swords upright. Cancer, joining your Ace of Cups, we have card number 55 and Adventure, which is really interesting because that's kind of like what the Ace of Cups is. This is going to be a new adventure. 5 + 5 is 10, so that's a 1. Just like an ace is, a 1 in cards. It can be a 1 or an 11. In any case, in either case, I think it would be good for you. But it's like a 1, a 1. So both of these represent new starts, right? We're starting from 1. So a new adventure for you. Very, very positive, emotionally fulfilling adventure coming up for the Cancers. Look at these cards too, like how they all match. It's like the color scheme is very interesting. And a lot of 5s here. So I think all of these, maybe with the exception of Gemini, involve some actual change. And that change would be forward moving. And that goes in line with what I was talking about, like for the Geminis, of still feeling sort of stuck. So maybe we don't get our change this week, but all of these involve 5s and some sort of change. Next 4 signs. Actually, I'll just put these. I'll just throw them in here. These I'll give a little shuffle. Now we have rebirth on the top. It's another 7, by the way. Okay. Ace of Wands for the Leos. Virgo. 3 of Cups in reverse. Libra. The Magician in reverse. Scorpio. The Hierophant upright. Wow. Maybe I should have shuffled these too. Maybe you guys are not supposed to have the the 8 of Swords in reverse, because these don't look like cards of argument. Okay, Leo. This is your energy. This is your fire. And you have actually Mars, the planet of action, ruler of the signs of Aries and Scorpio, located in your sign. We are also entering very soon the energy of the Lion's Gate. Leo will be, and we're entering the Leo sun soon too. So this Leo energy will be very powerful. But for this week, if we're single, this can definitely, indicate the beginning of a new relationship headed our way. Maybe through work. Wands can often be about travel or travel or career. And we should make ourselves available for love if we're looking for love in whatever way that makes sense for us. So if that means getting outside or answering our phone, responding to our texts, getting online or whatever, we should do that. If we're already committed, then this card tells us that our relationship is going to somehow undergo a new beginning, similar to what I was saying to the Cancers a moment ago, that, something will feel new about the new heights and depths of connection that we are, seeing and experiencing in our relationship. So we'll see it like rise to new levels of understanding and commitment and respect and stuff like that. So yours is pretty easy. I'm done with you guys. Moving on to the Virgos, the 3 of Cups in reverse. So I've been talking throughout the reading about maybe somebody returning to your life and things like that. In a general sense, even not even necessarily connected just to love. The 3 of Cups is a very positive card and means that we can look forward to at least one pleasant and positive reunion with someone or something that we've been apart from for some time. And there's like a sense of feeling like really supported by friends and family when this card shows up, and it can be about celebrations and things, or maybe meeting somebody or reuniting with somebody at some sort of social event or celebration party, something like that. So it's definitely about keeping in touch with people right now. Again, maybe similar to what I said to the Leos a moment ago, being responsive. Our phone rings, actually picking it up, maybe responding to texts, and, we could be surprised by what develops from there. But specific to love, it gets a little, it's funny, because that's the general meaning of the 3 of Cups in reverse. So that could definitely be true for you. But then when you're talking specific for love, in terms of the traditional tarot, finances can come into play. It's kind of interesting. And the card can instead be about the fact that, like, sort of financial constraints and like stresses. We saw a card like that in the numerology deck earlier. What was it called? Financial discipline? I think so. Anyway, like financial stresses or whatever, like affecting the relationship. So maybe the fact that, you have money concerns or worries, or one person makes more than the other, and it affects the relationship somehow or something. That came up in the general reading, actually. So there could be something like that going on. If we're single, we could definitely, very well meet a new romantic possibility, again, through friends, at a social event, while we're out and about and stuff like that. So it's important to mingle, particularly in groups of maybe 3 or more, if we're looking for love. Moving on to Libra. I'm sorry. Didn't I tell Gemini that something could be going on specifically with a Libra? Well, guess what sign the Magician represents? Gemini. And it's here in this Libra placement. Yep. So the Magician, as it relates to love, can indicate that we're losing faith in ourselves, right? We don't believe in ourselves as the Magician, as someone who has the ability to draw any and everything that we want toward ourselves. So we're like sort of losing faith in our ability to find or attract or maybe to keep love, a man, a woman. If we're single, we might be feeling this even more so. You know, if we're coupled, then obviously we found one and we could just be paranoid about whether or not we're going to be capable of keeping them, and we feel like we're in danger of losing them. If we're single, we could really be feeling like, man, like, am I ever going to find one, period. In either case, we got to stop this. If we're going to be successful in love and relationships. Also, specifically with regard to a committed relationship, this card can be about hesitancy to talk about what it is we really want and or need in a relationship. So it goes back to the Six of Swords in reverse, this Eight of Swords, that's our overall energy. And it's important, obviously, to be brave enough, to communicate about these things. Your situation, again, may specifically involve a Gemini. Moving on to Scorpio and the Hierophant, which is a card of commitment, marriage even, engagement, marriage, love. Very, very positive card. And so if you're already involved with somebody, or in general, your romantic life or love life is likely going very well, whatever that means for you. But like in a very traditional way, and again, whatever that means for you. Maybe something in line with your belief systems, religion, or spirituality, or morals, or whatever. Just very traditional. And this week, keep it that way. Like, now is not the time to like buck the system, or to switch things up and stuff like that. Yeah, I guess that's it. Okay, so for the Leos, the numerology card that's going to join your Ace of Wands is card number 85. Follow your dreams. Of course, 85 equals 13 or 4 or 11, 11, or master number 22. And that's an awesome energy to have joining your new beginning here. If you have been hesitant to go toward this something new, or someone new, again, this is telling you to, do what's really in your heart or in your dreams to do. So your deepest of feelings and thoughts, to follow those. Which may really be affected right now by Neptune and the energy of Pisces. Super strong. Go with it. That was Leo. So next is Virgo. Again, your Three of Cups in reverse is being joined by card number 87 in synchronicity. Signs, patterns, sounds are trying to send you messages. Maybe as to where you need to be, or, with whom you need to be communicating, and those things. Pay attention. You could see somebody's name over and over, maybe, who may be the key person in here that you're meant to reunite with, or, again, some sort of number pattern, or hear, some sort of sound or song or something that you're meant to pay particular attention to. And this also came up in the general reading for us all. I don't remember in what placement, but we were meant to pay attention to, look out for signs and synchronicities. So you guys especially. Moving on to Libra and your Magician in reverse. We have card number 99 and compassion. Show yourselves some, and also some love and belief in yourself. And also you may want to listen to not 99 but 999 hertz meditation sounds. I think that's like a full body sort of detox, if I'm not mistaken, and that may be what you need to release whatever these negative emotions and things you may be having about yourself and your ability or capabilities in terms of manifestation. Let me release all those from you and any fears you're having and stuff. And last but not least, in this spread, Scorpio, joining your Hierophant. We have a similar card. We have completion. So it's the end of some sort of cycle for you as it relates to your love life and maybe tradition. You could be starting some new traditions soon, maybe after this week. This week, again, it's not good to buck the system. Next week, you may want to go ahead and get to bucking. Or, you know, something else that sounds like ucking. All right, let's go to the last 4 signs for the week. It's not fair, but I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these a couple times too. I say it's not fair because the others of us had that 8 of Swords as the overall energy. I just feel like I'm supposed to mix these up again. Overall energy is now the 3 of Cups upright. So maybe you guys in the last 4 signs are meant to experience something a little bit different from the rest of us. Three of Cups, again, whether upright or in reverse, is about reunions, gatherings, being social, getting together with friends, celebrations, parties, meeting someone at those celebrations or parties or while being social. And we started with happy ending before I shuffled, you know, when I first put the camera on. And with happy ending is again here at the top. So we ended on Scorpio. That means Sagittarius. This is your card. It is the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. Then Capricorn, 2 of Swords. Aquarius, the Sun. And last but not least, Pisces. Nice. 9 of Cups. Maybe because of what I was saying about Neptune and your sign being retrograde in your sign right now. Okay. Let's put this here to remind ourselves of the happy ending. And maybe even let's put our 10 of Cups here too. Well, can't see that one. Anyway, I just feel because this is definitely giving me different energy than the other batches. So the 9 of Pentacles in reverse can mean that, like, if we want to have success in our love and relationships, we can't expect it to just happen. Like, we got to do something. So it makes sense that the 3 of Cups is showing up here for you, because again, that means, you know, the fact that it's not going to just happen, like we're not going to just be sitting at home on our couches and love, you know, a man or a woman's going to fall out through the ceiling. We have to, like, get out, again, spend time with friends or spend time out in the sun, go to events, go to parties, have a good time, you know, be social, even if that means online or whatever. And definitely, you know, in groups with friends, other people, you could definitely meet somebody through a friend or something like that if you're single. If you're in a relationship, there is an additional need or guidance to definitely be willing to talk and to have conversations, that which is being social, right, too. But and listening, like really listening. And I talked a lot about this, like, was it last week when I was saying listening to hear, not or not just to, yeah, listening to hear, not just to respond, you know. Um, so I think that's your major message this week too, specifically for you guys. So that was Sag, right? Yes. So next up we have Capricorn and the Two of Swords. So this is a positive card. It's a good omen, especially for couples or situations that are already existing. It can mean that you're going to move into like a more balanced phase. Twos can be about balance, maybe feeling more equal, more equity in your relationship, more mutual respect and things like that. If particularly if that hadn't been the case, treating each other as equals when this card shows up is it's what tends to happen. So again, if there was somebody that was feeling sort of like they were being treated in a subordinate manner or less than, when with this card it can mean that's like gonna stop. If you are single and looking, then it guides us to take a look at ourselves first again, and see if there's anything that we need to heal there. We're back in this element of swords. So the Two of Swords, although it's non-reversed, now joins the 7 and the 6 and the 8 and the 9 that we've also seen. And so again, similar to what I said about the Queen, and being too pushy, sometimes this card can warn of like an air of desperation, and people can smell like desperation, a mile away and be turned off by it. It's unattractive. And sometimes we don't mean it to come off. Well, I think probably we never mean it to come off as desperation. It's just, being excited about love and or person, and, being happy, being high off being happy and wanting more of it and pushing too hard. We got to be careful of that with this card. And we also got to be careful about like looking outside of ourselves for happiness. Obviously, particularly if we're single. So like this other person, if and when they come in, is not meant to like complete us. Like we need to be whole and complete already, and then partner with someone else who is, or attract someone else who is, because we are there. We tend to attract our like reflection. Moving on to Aquarius and the sun. So I talked a lot about the sun and what it means for love and relationship throughout this reading. And again, I will tell you that if you're in a committed relationship, it can mean that you or your partner or both of you may be in more than the usual need of space. Whether that means you guys need a break together and you need to pull away from other people, or you need a break or space from each other. And it's not something to become like upset about, or you need to allow yourself and or your partner this space. This is not a time to be like clingy or needy or whiny. Maybe you go out and hang out with your friends and let them hang out with their friends. Maybe you guys be social, or something like that. If you're looking for love, it is a positive card again, and it can definitely be on the horizon, like the sun, the horizon. Yeah. It can be on the horizon for you. Last but not least, Pisces, the 9 of Cups. I mean, the 9 of Cups is a yes, and particularly in terms of love. Like, if we're looking for a yes or no answer, it is a hard yes. It's also about your prayers being answered, your dreams coming true, your wishes being granted, goals being reached. I mean, this is a really good card. If you're already in a relationship, it's very, very possible that it will deepen and become better and more exciting, or, more loving, sweeter, all of that. If you're single, this is a great time to meet people. Again, be social, get out, mingle, have conversations with people that you meet, without being sort of like married to an outcome. You know, like people that say, well, I'm meeting people to get married. You know, I'm dating to marry. Like, don't, with this card, that's not the ticket. That ain't it. That ain't it with this card. This is about being, you know, open and just meeting people and being organic and going with the flow and seeing what happens, and knowing that what happens is for the best, because this is about manifesting what you need, what you want, you know, and goodness coming to you, the Nine of Cups. So, you know, if you meet somebody and they don't turn into your husband or your wife, that's okay. They weren't meant to, you know, so don't be hung up on that sort of thing. Let me pull your numerology cards now. And Sagittarius, joining your Nine of Pentacles in reverse, we have forgiveness. So I said you have to act if you want the love to come. So we have also been talking a lot about reunion, and your overall energy, since I shuffled the cards again, is a Three of Cups, which is a card of reunion. And so maybe the action that you need to take is to seek forgiveness or grant forgiveness of the person with whom you're reuniting, or somebody else that hurt you, that's blocking you from you know, having happiness with a new person. And behind that we have the eight rather of wands. So it's your energy also, and this is a card of movement where things had been previously stuck, and it's also a card of communication. So both of those would be really awesome for you. Then we have the Six of Swords upright as well. And the Six of Swords upright is also about forward movement and the difficulties being left in the past, moving beyond, you know, some sort of situation that was tough, and, you know, out of like rough waters into calmer, stiller waters. So very, very nice for you guys. Take action. Moving on to Capricorn, your card it's green, like your energy of earth. And it is for perseverance. And I think this is like survival of a relationship. Again, where maybe you had been having some sort of problems because there was a feeling of inequity or inequality, and we're working that out. We're on a more solid foundation. If you're single, you know, maybe feelings of imbalance or lack of, you know, love or whatever, but there's, you know, we persevere. There's opportunity here, again, for us to get out and be with people, or to reunite with somebody, for movement where we've been stuck, and for things to be better where they've been difficult. If we, you know, don't give up. Aquarius. Physical activity. Well, since the sun is about getting out, getting away, taking a break, I think this is kind of literal. And, you know, maybe through some sort of physical activity, like, for example, exercise can help to make you feel better. If you're feeling like, I'm overwhelmed, I'm emotionally, you know, sort of unstable right now, I need a break, I need some space, I need time to myself, you know, physical activity can lead to positive endorphins. This could be the fact, again, that you guys need a break together to get away, and maybe to do some physical activity together. You know, I don't have to spell it out. You have like a young Lady Godiva here. There's somebody nude on a horse. You know, I wish it was older. It'd be more appropriate for the Lady Godiva scenario. But anyway, I think you guys get where I'm going with that. Or, again, going out and having fun, physical activity with friends, maybe separate and apart from your mate. And last but not least, for the Pisceans, joining your 9 of Cups, we do have card number 14 in moderation. So it's interesting because for me, this guy, he seems sort of cavalier and not very humble about, you know, everything going his way. So I'm picking this up as a need to, with all the goodness that's coming to you and the positive things that are happening with you, there's a need to, again, remember, to be thankful, and also not to be like excessive, and also drinking. Be careful about like drinking too much in excess or something when you're out and being social, and or drugs. And there was some that came up actually in the general reading, physical health. The card was the Page of Earth in reverse. With relation to physical health, it does warn about like hurting ourselves somehow by like while we're inebriated in some way or something. So drinking, using drugs or whatever, minor hurt, you know, minor injuries or whatever. But I'm just getting a similar warning for you guys to like drinks, drugs, whatever you're doing, in moderation, but enjoy yourself and be social. I hope you guys have enjoyed the reading also. And please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I will do my best to reply to anyone who does. Today, I saw a bunch of comments in like the back end. Like they didn't show up on the reading themselves, or at least not where I could see them, but they're like stashed in YouTube. So I'm going to try to go back and reply to those too. So if you see like me replying to something you wrote, you know, last week or even further out, that's why. All right. Thanks again. Namaste.